Hi, I'm Matt Hoelscher, founder of Parent Marriage Coaching and creator of the Emotionally Connected Couples Coaching Program. This is part 4 of my marriage and sexuality course on maintaining a healthy sex life with young kids. Because I deal with couples that are about 30 to 40 with 1 or 2 young kids under 5 years old, I focus on how to keep that sex life, that glue, tight between the couple so that they don't lose each other as they go through the stressful challenge of parenting young children, maintaining their careers, and having a happy household. So today I just wanted to go over 6 tips I have for maintaining a great healthy sex life even with young kids. The first one is really making a commitment to keep sex as a priority in your relationship and not something that happens when everything else is taken care of. You know, some people say they can never save money, and the secret to saving money is as soon as you get paid to take some money and set it aside, because there's never any money left over at the end of the day, right? By the time your paycheck's over with, the money all disappears. But if you pay yourself first, you'll be amazed at how much money you can actually save. Sex is the same way. When you make it a priority that we will do this with my partner, even if it's just getting in a quickie in the shower or 10 minutes before bed a couple nights a week, as long as you make it a priority, it'll happen. But if you wait until you have the time, the privacy, and the energy, it won't happen, and it will keep going further and further and further away. So one suggestion is to make a commitment like the 3-day rule. I commit to you that we won't go more than 3 days without having sex. The beautiful part of that is that it gives some structure and some boundaries to both partners, so that if you just had sex, your partner isn't like pressuring you to do it again and again and again. Because often the higher desire partner, and that can be male or female, it happens both ways, the higher desire partner is always wondering when they're going to have it again, and it creates an anxiety in their mind so that they're always asking and always trying and always asking, and then you're always rejecting or you're always holding back, worrying if you're going to lead your partner on that they're going to want to have sex again even though you just had sex. So if you give it a little structure and say, look, we're not going to go more than 3 days. If it's been less than 3 days, don't pressure me, don't be begging. Yeah, if I'm feeling like it and we want to have more, that's okay, but don't be all over me. And if it's been 3 days, then it's okay to ask or be a little bit more insistent, or that we recognize, hey, it's been 3 days, what can we do today to fit that in, because it's an important part of our lives. And even with high and low desire relationships, the more you have sex, usually the more you want to have it. And that's a good thing, because it's very healthy for both of you. Not only does it bring pleasure at orgasm, it relieves stress, it creates feelings of attachment, and it keeps you two together. So if you want to have less and say, hey, it's a 4-day rule or a 1-week rule, you can set whatever time frame you want. But 3 days is a good general guideline to keep things healthy and dynamic. So see if you'd be both open to discussing and making that commitment with each other. The next thing is the date night bag. You can see my other videos on some of my favorite toys for the bedroom, or toys that are already in your kitchen that are available for you to use once you develop that sex-ray vision to see how many sexy things you already have around your home but didn't quite recognize their sexual potential. But once you have some toys, or you just have some ideas on what you like doing for each other, sometimes it's hard to be creative. Neither partner wants to lead, neither partner wants to initiate, and it's hard to get creative all the time when you're stressed and tired. So if you just make an inventory of all your toys and all your favorite activities, write them down on a piece of paper, you can make a date night bag, where you simply decide who gets to draw in the bag tonight. You can flip for it, do chores for it, but then just reach in and either pull out a card and say like, hey, tonight we're gonna get this toy out and try this, this, or this. Or just incorporate this activity into our sexual lovemaking to make it more exciting. Or you could add to the date night bag, you could just have a list, you assign a number to an activity or a toy, and then just roll the dice and let chance guide you, mix things up, and push your creativity so that you can see whose turn it is and what you can do differently without nagging each other with the whole like, well, what do you want to do? Well, what do you want to do? Who's going to be in charge? I want you to initiate. I want you to do something. Sometimes just letting random chance spice up your love life makes it easier, and then nobody's at fault. Hey, it's the card you chose. The next thing is to order some new toys and have some new experiences. There's so much more than just basic sex. Sex is it's an erogenous act that pulls our whole body into a new state of consciousness that can be fabulous, but sometimes having some additional toys help. It just so happens that anything that vibrates stimulates blood flow to that area of the body. And that's why we use massagers all over our body, including our genitalia, to bring us stress relief, pleasure, and to make life more fun. So I challenge you both, you don't even have to go to a store anymore. Amazon will deliver everything in a plain brown paper box. As long as your kids don't get to it first thinking it's a present, there's nothing wrong and everything's available to you completely discreetly and will be delivered in the next couple of days. So if you each taking turns, say once a month, finding some new toy, device, or something that intrigues you to go and experiment and learn. Because if you're going to be in a monogamous long-term partnership, you're going to need to do something different. Because marriage is great for stability and security, and we all crave that. But we also crave novelty and new experience and excitement. And something as simple as a blindfold to shut our brain off and allow the rest of our senses to engage in our body and create novelty and mystery in our brain creates an extremely erotic atmosphere when you just put a little more emphasis on it, a little bit more creativity. And it makes such a huge difference, right? That's why you want to go back and look at my other previous video on foreplay so that you learn how to get the mind engaged in thinking sexually in between the sex act, so it's not always a cold, hard start every time you're just like, let's have sex. The next thing is, when you show up to sex, try to show up with a positive attitude. If there's something that's holding you back, if there's some resentment with your partner, you need to have a 10-minute conversation first so that you can share those feelings, feel those emotions, and release them. Because especially for women, but both partners, you gotta get out of your brain and into your body first. And if there's something in your heart that's bothering you, it blocks your consciousness getting out of your brain and into the rest of your body so that you can feel the juicy deliciousness of sex. So please look at my other video on having a 10-minute conversation so that you can feel listened to and understood by your partner. That's what builds the emotional connection, and that's what leads you to outstanding sex. I mean, sometimes, just grabbing your partner and being like, I want you and I feel that desire is wonderful, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not sustainable. And eventually it gets old, or you start to feel used, or that your only value is sex. And nobody wants to feel that way, whether male or female. So you gotta really show up to play, and if there's something blocking you, you gotta call a timeout with your partner. Give yourself time to settle down, and then communicate with them and clear out whatever is going on. Maybe it's something at work, maybe it's something with the family, maybe there's something going on with the kids that's bothering you, or something your partner did that they're not even aware of. Hey, you never helped me with the laundry, or you left the stuff out, or I got this honey-do list that's 10 miles long and you haven't touched any of it. If you have that resentment, sex is the first thing. When the sex isn't good, it's like that canary in the coal mine showing you that there's something wrong with your relationship. So don't ignore it. It's like the check engine light in your car. Yeah, your car is still running and everything's fine. There's just this little annoying yellow light there that you wish you could just put a sticker over it and shut it off. But don't. It's trying to tell you something. And when either one of you feel it, you got to acknowledge it and be like, whoa, hold on. I got to talk to you. Something's bothering me. But to maintain that sex life with young kids, you're under so much stress from the kids and the work, maybe you're still going to school, that you got to keep all that stuff clear to keep your sex life juicy and dynamic and to keep you engaged. And speaking of all that stress and everything that's going on in your life, the other thing that's a great way to take the edge off your partner, still feel connected, and yet save a lot of time, and especially when you're tired, is what I call no strings attached oral. When you use oral sex, It's a way for one partner to gift the other partner with an orgasm, to relieve that sexual tension, to bring them back to a point of happiness, and it doesn't require much touching, much planning, or much engagement. So there's a time, especially if it's been more than 3 days and you just need to take care of it, there's nothing like oral sex and gifting your partner an orgasm to help them come back into connection and to be present with you. Because sometimes they get so hung up on sex and they get so needy and they just need to feel desired and they need to feel that release that everything else is blocked because it's a sexual block. And that is the fastest, easiest way to clear it out. Especially when a woman is breastfeeding, because I know often women are not sexually engaged when they're breastfeeding. The last thing you want is to be pregnant, and once you get the baby off of you, the last thing you want is your husband touching your body. But you got to understand that your husband also loves you and desires you and needs that contact from you. And that simple little 5-minute fix can get you 60 more minutes of help around the house, help with the kids, or just some more sleep, and keep your marriage happy and secure. Finally, as I said in the beginning, you gotta make it a habit. You have to make it a commitment, and there are times that you're gonna have to show up to play where you may not be feeling it, you may be feeling a little tired, and it's okay just to have sleepy, slow cuddle sex. It's okay to have a quickie in the shower. It's okay to explore a new room. It's okay to use some toys and plan a date night and do it up right. Cook yourselves a good meal. Drop the kids off at the grandparents. Hire a babysitter. Just find some friends and schedule a sleepover and trade a weekend with some neighbors. The most important thing is to have that reconnection, to make it a habit, to reach out and try to connect with your partner so that you both work towards maintaining that happy sex life and you make that commitment with each other so that you both feel like you're in this together and that you love each other and that you want to be with each other. So those are my tips for maintaining a healthy, dynamic sex life with young kids. My name is Matthew Hoelscher, founder of Parent Marriage Coaching. If you need more help in your relationship, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I look forward to talking with you and seeing if I can help you have the marriage that you both desire and dream of.